Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be talking about some older romance books that I love, or just romance books that I don't give enough love. So some of these I have read years ago, so my memories are a little distant, but I still feel like if I would reread them, I would love them anyways. And I just wanted to do this kind of video. I honestly have plans to do more of these type of videos where I just talk about some older books that I read way before BookTube that I really love, or books that I just feel like I haven't given enough love to in the last little while. So I have lots of plans for those type of videos, and I thought I would go ahead and do this one. So I have a couple of books that I just wanted to talk about that I really love and I want to give more love for. So the first one is More Than Forever by Jay McLean. This is a new adult romance, and this I read when it came out back in 2014. This is probably like one of my favorite new adult romances. It's just so beautiful and heartbreaking and sweet and cute. So this follows Lucy and Cameron, who meet when they are pretty young, I think like early high school. And Lucy has a lot going on in her life. She has lost her mom and she's trying to take care of her dad and all of her brothers. She has a huge family. Cameron just really wants to help Lucy with everything. And they both start this friendship that eventually slowly but like perfectly turns into like an epic love. They go through so much together. It's just such a beautiful book, and bear with me, I'm not going to explain these books very well because I feel like that is who I am at this point. Like I can't explain books. But I really love this book. It is definitely like an all-time fave. If you want like a really, I wouldn't say slow burn, but like a perfect developed romance that starts when they're young and you follow them like into adulthood and all of the ups and downs, and it's just such a beautiful and sweet book. The next one that I have is Sustained by Emma Chase. This is technically book 2 in the Legal Briefs series. This is honestly my favorite Emma Chase book. I am in like desperate need to do a reread. So this follows Chelsea, who suddenly becomes guardian to like 6 of her nieces and nephews. She is just trying to be the best guardian slash parent that she can be, and also mourning the death of some of her family members. And then we have our male character Jake. He is described as like this cold, mean kind of guy. He is the type of guy that's kind of a player. He's not really interested in any kind of relationships. Something ends up happening that he kind of gets wrapped up into Chelsea's life, and he's suddenly starting to care about her and her nieces and nephews, and he's starting to like randomly help her. And it's just super cute, and I really loved it, and I loved all the kids in here. I loved both of the characters and their romance, and I also loved like the little novella. I have that too, sidebarred. It's kind of like more of like an extended epilogue. It was super cute. But if you love kids in romance books, I highly recommend this one. It was just so great, and I really need to reread this. The next one is Chandler by Laurelyn Page. I recently read her Slay Quartet, and Chandler makes an appearance in there. It made me like remember how much I loved this book. This is probably like one of my favorites by Laurelyn Page. It's a standalone, but it is like loosely connected to the Fixed series and the Slay Quartet. It came out way before her Slay Quartet, so you're fine to read it before that. And it's like loosely tied, so you're not missing anything. This follows Chandler, who is a businessman, and again, he's kind of a player, but he meets Genevieve and he is immediately like swept up into her, and he is suddenly wanting to just spend every moment with her and wanting to be better for her. And it was super cute, It's pretty short, so it's not a lot to read, and I really enjoyed their romance, and Laura Lynn Page writes really great, sexy, smutty stuff, so I highly recommend this book. I really loved it. The next one is Just for Now by Abby Glines. I feel like I talk a lot about Abby Glines because she is one of the authors that definitely helped start my romance journey, I guess, and I definitely talk about the Rosemary Beach series a lot. I don't really ever mention the Seabreeze series. I honestly do love the Seabreeze series. I feel like the first 2 or 3 books are kind of slow. This is the 4th book in the series. This is one of my favorites in that series, and also one of my favorites by Abby Glines. So this is an age gap, best friends, brother, sibling romance. I never know what to call those. So this follows Amanda, who's kind of a little innocent, and she's always had a crush on Preston, and she decides to kind of go for it, and it doesn't end very well, but then it suddenly makes Preston see Amanda in a whole new light, and he's kind of a bad boy, so nobody really wants them together because he has a really bad past, and everybody just doesn't think he's good enough for Amanda, so it's definitely a little forbidden. There's just something about this book that I really loved, and I don't know, it's just one of my favorites by Abby Glines. The next one is Real by Katie Evans, and this I actually reread last year, so I have pretty solid memories, I guess, of this book. I just loved Remy and Brooke, and I still love them to this day. Their story is so interesting and so captivating and kind of like addicting in a way. It's just really good. And if you haven't read this yet, you need to. Brooke and Remy are like one of my favorite couples of all time. I love Remy so much. Essentially, he's like an underground fighter that has a lot going on, and Brooke is his new sports therapist that tries to help him. They fall in love. It's very consuming, very explosive. I just really love this book. The next one that I'm going to talk about is Dear Agony by Georgia Cates. This is one of Georgia Cates' standalones. This follows Rose, who kind of is having a rough life. She is sort of living on the streets, and then she gets approached by this woman who essentially runs like this escort business. Rose decides to take the opportunity to join and to be trained. Rose gets approached by Bash, and he is determined to have her, but just to be like a companion. It doesn't have to be anything sexual or anything more, just kind of like a friend, but obviously things develop and he's hiding like a super big secret. It's a lot more serious than I'm making it out to be, but I really loved the romance and the characters and just the way that the story went. I just really loved this book, and it's definitely one of my favorites by Georgia Cates. And the last book I'm going to talk about is The Learning Hours by Sarah Nye. This is my favorite Sarah Nye book. This is a new adult college romance. It follows Rhett, who is kind of considered ugly. He's not good looking, and so he doesn't really get any of the girls. Like, really all he has going for him is that he is a wrestler, I think. I get kind of confused because some of them is wrestling, some of them is other sports. And his friends are kind of annoyed that he's not hooking up with chicks and that he's not really partying like they are and stuff. So they decide to take his picture and post his number like everywhere on campus. And suddenly his phone gets like bombarded with all these women texting him and stuff, and he's not really used to all of this attention, so he's kind of hating it. But there is one number and one text that catches his attention, and he decides to kind of pursue it. It's just super cute. I really love the characters, and I love how Rhett is like described as not like, he's not a good looking guy, and like he's not super hot and stuff, and I just really liked that. I really liked Laurel, and she was a great character. She definitely had flaws, but I still really loved her, and I just loved the romance, and I just thought it was so good. It was a fantastic book, and as I said, like, one of my favorite books. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I Definitely want to do more type of videos like this where I just kind of talk about some old favorites that I don't really give love to that often. Let me know some of your like older favorite romance books, or like books that you feel like aren't super popular that you really love. Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, follow me on all my other social media, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!